Welcome to the Sports Brief. In an off-season filled with blockbuster trades and franchise-altering draft picks, one single decision stands above the rest. It's a move so unconventional, so fraught with risk and reward, that it will not only define a team's season, but will also serve as a critical case study for front offices across the entire National Football League. Every year, the league's landscape is shaped by choices made at the quarterback position. We see teams invest heavily in veterans, hoping to open an immediate Super Bowl window. Others commit to a full rebuild, drafting a young prospect to be the face of the franchise for the next decade. These are established, understandable strategies. But the single decision that will have the most profound impact on the upcoming season is the one made by the Atlanta Falcons. Not just to sign quarterback Kirk Cousins, but to then immediately draft Michael Penix Jr. with the 8th overall pick. This two-part decision is the hinge upon which the 2024 season will swing. Let's first break down the sheer audacity of the move. The Falcons committed 4 years and $180 million, with $100 million fully guaranteed, to Kirk Cousins. At 36 years old and coming off a torn Achilles tendon, this was a pure win-now declaration. The message to the fans, the locker room, and the league was clear. Atlanta believed it was a competent quarterback away from contending. This move, in isolation, was aggressive but logical. They identified a weakness and paid a premium to fix it. But then, just weeks later, with the 8th overall pick in the draft, the Falcons did something no one saw coming. They selected Michael Penix Jr., a quarterback out of Washington. This wasn't a late-round flyer or a developmental prospect taken on day 3. This was a top 10 pick, a premium asset, used on a player who, in theory, shouldn't see the field for several years.
The shockwave was immediate. Pundits were stunned, fans were confused, and even Kirk Cousins himself was reportedly caught completely off guard. So why did the Falcons do it? The front office has presented a vision of long-term stability. They argue they have secured both the present and the future of the quarterback position. In their ideal scenario, Cousins leads the team to contention for the next 2 to 3 years, mentoring Penix in the process. When Cousins' contract is up or his play declines, Penix, having learned from a seasoned veteran, is ready to take the reins. It's a succession plan, an attempt to replicate the Green Bay model of transitioning from Brett Favre to Aaron Rodgers and later from Rodgers to Jordan Love. On the surface, this sounds prudent. Quarterback purgatory is the worst place to be in the NFL, and the Falcons have seemingly insured themselves against it for the better part of a decade. They get a proven top 12 quarterback for the immediate future and a high-ceiling prospect for the long term. If Cousins plays at a Pro Bowl level and the Falcons win the NFC South, the move looks like a stroke of genius. If Penix develops into a star, it's a franchise-defining decision that sets them up for 15 years of success. However, the risks are monumental. First and foremost, there's the opportunity cost. With the 8th pick, the Falcons could have drafted a game-changing pass rusher like Dallas Turner, who went to their division rival, the Minnesota Vikings, just a few picks later. Or they could have selected a top offensive tackle to protect their $180 million investment. Instead, they used that valuable resource on a player who will be holding a clipboard for the foreseeable future. In a league built on maximizing rookie contracts, the Falcons have chosen to burn the most valuable years of Penix's deal while he sits on the bench.
Then there's the human element, which is perhaps the most combustible part of this entire experiment. Think about the locker room. You have veterans who signed on or re-signed with the belief that Kirk Cousins was the final piece of the puzzle. They're here to win now. You also have young players who see Penix as the future. This decision creates an unavoidable underlying tension. Every interception Cousins throws won't just be a bad play, it will be a data point in a public debate. Every successful drive Penix leads in the preseason will be magnified, creating a quarterback controversy where none needed to exist. It puts an immense strain on the social fabric of the team, forcing players to navigate a delicate political landscape. That's a heavy burden for a team that hasn't had a winning season in 6 years. And what about the coaching staff?
Head coach Raheem Morris and offensive coordinator Zach Robinson are in an incredibly precarious position. Their primary job is to win football games in 2024, and that means putting all their resources and support behind Kirk Cousins. Yet their other job, handed down from the front office, is to develop Michael Penix Jr. into the quarterback of the future. These two objectives are often at odds. How do you allocate practice reps? How do you design an offense that suits a 36-year-old pocket passer while also keeping in mind the skill set of a mobile lefty with a cannon for an arm? Every decision Morris and Robinson make will be viewed through this prism. If the team struggles, the question won't just be about execution, it will be about whether the coaching staff is successfully navigating the most complex quarterback room in the entire league.
Their job security is now tied to a strategic gamble they didn't make, but are responsible for executing. Furthermore, this decision sends a ripple effect across the entire NFL. For years, the league has been trending towards a specific model of team building. Find a quarterback on a rookie contract and then use the financial flexibility to build a super team around him. The Kansas City Chiefs with Patrick Mahomes, the Cincinnati Bengals with Joe Burrow, the Philadelphia Eagles with Jalen Hurts. These are the blueprints. The Falcons have chosen to fly in the face of that logic. They are essentially paying two franchise quarterbacks at the same time, one in cash and the other in draft capital. If this works, it could usher in a new era of team building, where teams prioritize long-term succession over short-term financial advantages. But if it fails, it will be a glaring reminder of why the rookie contract window is so coveted. It will be a lesson in the dangers of trying to play chess while everyone else is playing checkers. Other owners and general managers are watching Atlanta with a microscope. The success or failure of this experiment will influence roster-building decisions for years to come. Let's dive deeper into the financial mechanics of this decision, because in the modern NFL, the salary cap is as much an opponent as the team across the line of scrimmage. By committing $100 million guaranteed to Cousins and using a top 10 pick on Penix, the Falcons have tied up an enormous amount of resources, both cash and draft capital, into one position. The rookie wage scale is designed to provide teams with cost-controlled talent for 4 to 5 years. Atlanta has willingly forfeited that advantage. Instead of having a cheap, effective quarterback and spending lavishly on other positions, they have an expensive veteran and a high-value draft pick who isn't playing. This is a luxury that very few teams can afford, and it puts immense pressure on the scouting department to find talent in the later rounds of the draft. It also hamstrings their ability to be major players in free agency in the coming years. Every dollar spent on Cousins is a dollar that can't be used to re-sign a key defensive player or add a weapon on offense.
It's a high-stakes bet that Cousins' performance will be so transformative that it overcomes the inherent roster deficiencies created by this financial strategy. And what is the best-case scenario for this grand experiment? It's that Kirk Cousins plays like a top 10 quarterback for the next 3 years, leading the Falcons to multiple division titles and deep playoff runs. Meanwhile, Michael Penix Jr. develops into a franchise-caliber player, learning the nuances of the professional game from a consummate pro. When the time comes, the Falcons seamlessly transition from one great quarterback to another, creating a dynasty of sustained success. It's a beautiful vision, a football utopia. But it requires everything to go right. It requires Cousins to defy Father Time and recover fully from a devastating injury. It requires Penix to be patient, professional, and ready when his number is called. It requires the front office to draft perfectly in the margins. It's a narrow path to success, and it's littered with potential pitfalls. The Atlanta Falcons have made their bed. They have chosen a path of most resistance, a high-risk, high-reward strategy that will be scrutinized at every turn. The 2024 season will be a fascinating case study in team building, a test of a controversial theory in a league that often punishes those who deviate from the norm. Whether it ends in triumph or disaster, one thing is certain: all eyes will be on Atlanta. That's today's Sports Brief.